Live. I'm so sorry. My face so close up in the picture. 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. I hope it's not an echo. I'm waiting on Facebook to come on. Once it comes on, we're gonna go. All right, we're on live. Customize your dashboard. Now you can customize the layout of your dashboard. Got it. I appreciate it. All right, let's go. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Sincerely thanking everyone for tuning in to this installment of Like It Is, the 19 Report. We're coming out of Manning, South Carolina. So when I'm talking, most of you city people, this is probably stuff that you've heard already, you know about, you've seen it, you understand the consequences of it. But locally, most of our people live their life off of social media. They haven't experienced much. Even if they leave town, they go to another ghetto, they go to another area where there's nothing but trouble. So I want to talk about murder today. And I'm saying it just like I mean it, murder. I want to talk about the responsibility of a murderer, someone who takes the life of another. And even if you are captured and put in prison for 20 to 30 years, that does not wipe your slate clean from the responsibility of taking another person's life. Now, taking a life, believe it or not, is one of the most easiest things a person can do. Once you get accustomed to it, you can kill a person, drag them in the woods, don't think twice about it, and keep on living. The people who admire murder will think you're one of the toughest guys in the world, but in actuality, a murderer who murders for no reason has a mental illness. You and I are a manic, schizophrenic. We think everybody is after us, but there's a consequences to pay for that. And I hope that you will like and share this commentary. I know that it's a lot that many of you have heard, many of you have not heard. But as I said before, my job is to try to clean my slate. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I sold marijuana in my time for a couple of years, and I was very good at it. And if it were not for the responsibility of looking out for the police or the chances of getting arrested, I probably would have not stopped selling it because I was just that good at it, be honest with you. But my children suffer from what I did. They are products of that today. I know that. So when I talk to them, I don't condemn any of them for what they do, but I tell them about the other side of what they're doing. Their mother, the same. Their biological mother on one side, she's been through a lot. She's been addicted to different drugs. She can tell them about that. So not only do I tell other people about it, which is our job, I try to warn people about things that they don't even know is coming, and it's coming. You're not going to dodge it. You can't run around it. And that is the biggest mistake that most people make when it comes to religion. Hey, Miss Janice, how you doing? God bless you. God bless you. Our children are becoming animals, and we look at them as animals. But there is something in our life that we did not get straight with God, and the reflection of that impediment in our life sometimes is telling our children the right thing and watching them do the wrong thing. So in Islam, we are taught, and it is a golden rule, it is a fact. And this is something that these young children are not comprehending. You do not escape murdering another person. Never. I don't care if you get away for the rest of your life. Demons are going to be on you for that. I don't care if you go to jail for 20 to 30 years to life. Demons are going to be on you for that, according to the Bible and according to the Quran and according to other biblical scriptures, because we're taught that if we take a life, listen to this. If there's a young man who sells drugs, but his drugs takes care of his mama, his sisters, his brother, he pays the bills, and you murder him, the responsibility of that family is on you. You got to pay the bills. You got to make sure mama is straight. You got to make sure the children go to school and do everything. Every person that you murder, you got to take responsibility for what their life was being held accountable for. They do it in the court. My son was On his way to college, he was a honor student. He worked. He did this. He did that. They do that even if it's in an accident. They calculate your worth. And then they say, well, we gotta award you in a civil suit. We gotta award you $20 million because in your lifetime, you could have made $20 million. So when you take a person's life and all the people that help you get away with that, when that family or that person that you robbed, and my son and I have talked about this man trying to do a $100,000 deal, $200,000 deal, you rob him, he got to go back and face the person that he was dealing for. They kill him. You're responsible for that. See, it's the responsibility factor that we won't want to get rid of. I don't care. I don't give a F. I don't care. I don't care. Wrong place, wrong time. No, sir. No, ma'am. So you see recently in Alabama, a young man started all this trouble in the street, and I don't want to get involved with that. I don't care what your gang affiliation is. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm a civilian. I ain't never claimed no gang. Never. Because I ain't never had to. If you had to, that's on you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. If you love it, that's on you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm exiting myself from that negative spirit. I'm out of that by God's permission. I don't want nothing to do with it. But he did crimes and left his parents in their home. He said he asked them to leave. They said they didn't want to leave. You should have made them leave because you knew the magnitude of what you did, who you did it to, and what the consequences would have been. So they shot the parents, the grandparents, killed them, and then either the bullet hit the oxygen tank in the house or they deliberately burned the house down and murdered his grandparents. Most of you are killing for nothing or next to nothing. You will kill for a 20 sack of weed. You will kill for, this person was working at McDonald's, working at, what do you call it? Continental, working someplace where they were providing for their family, and you took their life. In Islam and the universal law and in Christianity, if you take a life, the responsibility of that family is on you. And if you do not take on the responsibility of financially listen to this now, you hate this person and you kill them, but their family's livelihood is your responsibility because you took the breadwinner. And if you don't take on that responsibility, this is what you're seeing in our children today. Total madness. You cannot escape it. I will be talking about the shadow people, but I got to get built up to that because it's so important. If what you are hearing, you find that it's beneficial, you like what you're hearing and you know it's the truth, just hit the like button, hit the share button. I need you to get these broadcasts off of my page because Facebook has locked me into a very small group of people. And if you share it, you get the broadcast out to more people. If you don't share it, it is just like murdering someone. This is not a game. People don't know better. They don't do better because they don't know better. They're not taught for things to make sense. But God has given me the ability to teach to where things make sense. It'll make sense to an adult, a child, a college graduate, a street person, a white person. It will make sense as long as you pay attention. You cannot murder someone. You cannot take a person's child from them and think that it's going to end there. You either going to become a drug addict, your family's going to go insane, something is going to, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. There is no escaping that. You don't have to be afraid of it. If you're man enough to deal with it, deal with it. If you're strong enough to see your daughter, your daughter turn into a prostitute, screwing everybody in your house, doing drugs, high on weed, hot boxing. If you're strong enough to see your child be in a good position and give up that position for the street, and this goes for politicians, anybody. If you're strong enough, then okay, then do it. But I'm telling you, in the Holy Quran, there is a story of Moses, the same Moses of the Bible, going in the search of knowledge, following a wise man. There's a long story, but the wise man came upon a child and he killed the child. And Moses said, oh, you've done a horrible thing. You murdered somebody. The one stipulation, the wise man said, don't ask me any questions, don't make any comments until I tell you why I did what I did. So when he murdered the child, when he took the child's life, he told Moses, he said, this child was going to cause his righteous parents to become evil, trying to protect him. So I took that child by God's permission, but God is going to give them a better child in his place. Our children are going to die, then die, then die, because they have lost the connection of family. I just posted up an article where a 10-year-old, 12-year-old brother just killed his sister. The connection of family, this is not by chance. This is why you are watching all of these OG gangsters from Cali, from New York, up on YouTube with hundreds and thousands of followers, trying to correct the mistakes that they made in their lifetime, because they know that the devil, as my big homie Dale Castro Powell said, the devil is coming to collect. So they are trying to clean up their life. Rappers used to be gangster rappers. Now they got suits and ties on, trying to clean up their life because they know there is a consequences. So to all of you young boys, y'all, most of y'all, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, but y'all haven't traveled the world. Y'all don't know. If you go somewhere, you go to a gambling spot in Vegas or Jersey, but you don't travel the world and see different things and see what happens, what the actions and the reactions are. And on a grander scale, America is in trouble. President just ordered drone strikes in Syria. Now they're back on ISIS again. Well, America got to pay for that. So the gun shops are running out of guns, running out of bullets. And I'm going to tell you something, quiet is kept. I carried a gun for 20 years, concealed weapons permit. I never had to pull it out. If I couldn't rock with these, which I can't anymore, I can't rock with these anymore. But for 20 years, I could rock with these because I wasn't going to hold the responsibility of I could take your life with these, but I wasn't going to hold the responsibility of taking somebody's life and knowing that there's a consequences, and I got family, sisters, and brothers. And I'm not talking about someone just coming to shoot up your home. I'm talking about cancer, diabetes, insanity. All of these things come into play when you open up that portal, and there must be a reaction to an action. If we in the game to make money, then make the money, man. That's enough. That's why the old gangsters used to always throw a party, or on Christmas they gave away turkey dinners, or they went in the hood and threw out the $1 bills. They tried to give back, knowing that when the pendulum swings this way, got to swing that way. Whatever I do over here is going to happen over here. You all don't seem to understand that. You don't take the life of somebody's child. Y'all are taking the life of people for nothing, man. He look at me funny. He claimed another set. He said, he told me to shut up. And you take a life. That's why y'all can't get off of these drugs. Y'all ain't just recreational smoking. Y'all are addicts, man. Y'all are marijuana addicts. You look for the strongest diesel, anything that's powerfully strong that keeps you out of your mind so that you don't think about all the wrong you did. That's what we do. We wake up on it. We go to sleep on it. But imagine how much money you spend on marijuana. Imagine how much money we spend on cigarettes and liquor. Imagine how much them 5s and 10s to pay these young girls to open their leg on onlyfan.com and all that so we can get a little pleasure. Imagine all the money we blow. So after 20 years in the street and you got 20 bodies and you done made 10, 15 million, 100,000, 200,000. At the end of that, you got nothing to show for it. Nobody's going to talk to you like this. But that's what the Bible is talking about. That's what the Quran is talking about. You cannot come to the people with these literal teachings, like saying the earth was created in 6 days, 6 periods. A day is like 1,000 years. That's what it says in the book. A day is like 1,000 years. You think in one day? No, it's not going to take one day for you to reverse what you did. It's going to take as much time that it took you to do it. It's going to take that much time to reverse it. And most of you aren't strong enough to stay on course long enough to reverse the process. So you're going to have to pay for it. That's why you are convincing yourself that life isn't worth anything. I ain't scared of death. I don't care. Everybody got to die. Sure we do. But our gift from God is life. Choose life, the tree of life, not the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because most of you, as tough as you think you are, you can't handle that. That's why you got to stay drunk. That's why you're out of your mind, the anxiety. All these things are happening. I know because I feel it. God makes me feel what you feel. That's why I got to keep talking. I can't take a break. My chest is about to bust out of my chest. I'm in pain right now. But when God say move, I move. You might see me die on the internet. Be honest with you. From health issues. But I'm going to keep moving until that day I die, because you young folks got to understand something. You take a life, you're hurting a mother, you're hurting a father, you're hurting children. Was it worth doing that? No matter how savage it was. Someone takes my child's life and I never find out who did it, and you in my face smiling at me. That's what Juice was about with Tupac. He hugged a man's mom. Find him, we'd kill him our damn self. I had to get that to you today, because y'all got to understand the consequences. If we take a life as Muslims, we know that the responsibility of that family is on us. We are not eager to take life. We would only take life when God say to take it. And not only that, I didn't like the person who I took his life. Now I got to try to take care of his family, or else the universal law going to come against me and take my family. This ain't no game. This real life. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. The book says it. Life for a life. But you pass by that because you're scared of it. Because you want to do people wrong and not have to answer to God for it. Because you want to say Jesus died for my sins and you don't have to be responsible. But I got news for you. Jesus was on the mount praying all night long saying, take this bitter cup. I don't want to die for these people, because these people will not change due to my death. So God gave him death, but he brought him back to life. Why should he have to die for our ignorant behinds? Remember that. If Jesus died for our sins and was resurrected in 3 days, then that means he took his life back. God gave him his life back. Why should he have to die for a people who gonna scapegoat on him? When a person dies, you can't scapegoat. The gun stores are sold out. The bullets are sold out. Who y'all planning on killing? You're not gonna kill the cracker. You're not gonna kill no other race. You're not gonna kill the chinks or the wetbacks. You're just gonna kill niggas. And so in our neighborhoods, things are getting worse and worse. Your parents, they in bad shape. They can't move straight. They can't think straight. Now they're trying to figure out a hustle because they can't work. Now they're becoming a part of the problem. And that's why every place we get that is of some value becomes a ghetto in less than 2 or 3 years, because of all the karmic debt that our children and our parents don't address. Well, I'm addressing mine. I done told y'all once, and I tell you again, I ain't even thinking I going to no heaven if there is a heaven, but I am trying to take some of the hell off of me. So I never did my stuff around a bunch of people. My dirt, I did alone. Your buddies, they want to show you they tough. I ain't got to show nobody I'm tough. I just did what I had to do, and that's that. And you won't hear me tell you about it unless God say to tell you. But I got debts to pay because I hurt people. And you got debts to pay because you all hurt people. And then you look on the internet, these OG gangsters got 2, 3, 400,000 followers, and they making money. I just saw Hassan Campbell buy a brand new Mercedes truck off of the funds he get off of YouTube. Some of these people are becoming millionaires off of YouTube from telling the young not to do what they did. Now they should take some of that money and give it to the people who they destroyed their lives. And if they don't, then they still got that debt on them. I don't care if you move into the suburbs, you change your name, change your identity. God knows who we are. So we got a debt to pay. We're being driven insane. You don't want to follow no laws. You don't want to follow no rules. Why? Because laws and rules mean that you got to pay for what you did. If you ain't smart enough to sell drugs and not get caught and not move around the police, and you get caught, don't get mad at the cops. You just don't know how to play the game. I did it for 3 years and nobody even suspected me of doing it. And I could have done it for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more years because I'm not a loudmouth person. I don't have to flash. I helped countless people in Manning with marijuana. I put it in their hand. Bring this back to me. But if you don't bring it back, I don't care. Keep the 200. Keep the 250. I mean, that's chump change. Ain't nothing. But that was then. You don't want to follow laws because laws mean responsibility. You just want to do, that's called anarchy. When you're in anarchy, you do whatever you want. That means that the criminals are in charge. Who got the better guns? The criminals got them. Y'all are like I'm not cursing. Y'all are like a infantry. You got every gun there is known to man. You got it. You know how to cut a person off before they get out their car. You know how to move around the car and shoot. I do too. You know how to set a person up in their house. I do too. I know how to make Molotov cocktails, but I ain't gonna burn nobody's house down unless it's necessary. We taught that. We trained that. Really. But I never had to use no more than these. I can't use them anymore. My hands are busted up. 3 surgeries on my knuckles, no nerves in my hand, blind in my left eye. L7 disc is totally rubbing against bone. I'm taking blood pressure medicine now that if you hit me one time, I could bleed internally. My fighting days are over. God willing, I can't let you get within arm reach of me. I hope you're listening. God willing, unless you sneak on me, I can't let you get within arm reaches of me. So I just want to do God's will. I hope you're listening. But for all the people, all the lives you took, there's a consequence, and you don't want to be responsible. Some of you are just not, as the brother told me today. How did he say it? As evil as you are, you're not intelligent. Without intellect, you can't move right. That's one thing that gets people in my life over, because they're street, but they're intelligent. So they know how to move. But as I was telling my son today, the street is changing the game because they don't want intelligence. They want anarchy. You got to pay for that, young people. You all are coming out of school, and this year y'all were let out on a pass, and I'm done. Most of you graduated, but you did not graduate with a degree. You graduated with the certificate of completion. You barely made it out. If you were to impose the exit exams and SATs and all that on you, you wouldn't have made it out. There go your blessing right there. With that certificate of completion, you may be able to go into college, but no, you come right out and you want to be the biggest gangster there is because there's some older person convincing you to do the dirt for them. We must begin to build intellect. Everybody can't die. Y'all are killing cousins and nephews. Bloodline. You just neighbors. You just want to kill everything. And there are older people who are encouraging you to do it. There is a consequence to that. There is a universal law that says things will get worse before they get better. And you cannot close your doors and act like you don't know what's happening. Silence is consent. That's what the Bible says. That's what the Quran says. That's what every book of holy literature says. If you are quiet when there is something you should be speaking out about, you are just as guilty. So most of us are just as guilty because we're quiet. If you are spreading lies about someone, you're just as guilty. Because that lie will make someone else say, oh, I got to kill that. I got to kill him. He doing this, he doing that. You lied. You're just as guilty. Somebody got to tell you these things. All of these righteous folk that you see around you, if they haven't answered for their sins, then their sins have not been wiped away. They convince themselves that their sins, and church become as addictive as crack as addictive as marijuana, as addictive as cigarettes, because when you get to church on Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, Friday, you can convince yourself through your feelings that all your sins have been removed. Since we are in hell, and God has already said it, this is Satan's world. You could be doing good in this life and not be with God. You could be doing good in this life and be 100% evil. So success and money is not the litmus test for righteous people in this world. This is hell. We are living in it right now. And it is going to be made manifest more and more every day, so you can see the shadow people, you can see the devil, and you can see the devil in yourself. Jesus died and was resurrected in 3 days. Does that mean that what he died for, he took it back? Or does that mean that what he died for, God says the people aren't going to listen, and the fair thing to do was to give a man his life back because he sacrificed everything for people who didn't appreciate his sacrifice? A mother sacrifices, and you say, my mama smoked crack. I talked about it last week. My mama ain't no good. My mama did this. My mama did that. She sacrificed for you, though. You go out in the street with your homeboy. This is my family. This is my blood. This is my family. And you forget about mom and dad, and you go cause trouble, pull up in your mom and daddy yard one day, and the bullets start flying. Mom and daddy dead, sister dead. You get away because you know how to hide behind the engine of the car, behind the engine block, and not get hit. You know how to duck low. They don't know that. They're not in the street. They're not guerrilla warfarers. They don't do that. You put them in a situation like that, and then you get up there, I'm going to miss my mama. My mama was the realest. Man, you in trouble, Jack. And I want y'all to understand that there is something bigger than law enforcement, something bigger than jail that you're going to deal with. You're going to go insane. You all are already going insane. You can't deal with your own thoughts. That's why you got to play music all the time, loud music. Your brain has to be filled with noise. In the church, your brain filled with noise. Boom, 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 boom. You couldn't be quiet for 20 minutes because the reality of what you've done to others and to yourself would overwhelm you. This is fact. This is what God is doing. God is doing this. God is the last say so. Omnipotent, beneficent, merciful, sustainer, destroyer. It ain't no just Jesus. God has 99 names and all of them mean the same thing. He's one God. Oh, man. I want y'all to understand this very clear. And I'm going. When you take a life, you're guilty. And when you know someone that took a life, you're guilty. The opposite side of that is people who telling you don't tell. That's their demonic world. Don't tell. You signed on to that. So you got to live by that. But we don't. We're civilians. But you're dragging us into your world, man. Mamas, they can't. Even after the person is found guilty and go to jail, mama's lost a child, though. And Satan has convinced you all that in killing someone else's child, you a man. And I see some of you youngins pull up in your parents' yard. You won't cut the grass. You don't wash the house. You won't wash a car. You don't trim the trees. The whole house is disgusting. And you talking about you love your mama. You the man of the house. Love is not a word that you say. It's a word that you do. Love is an action word. I'm done. I thank y'all for tuning in. I wanted you all to understand very clearly, you never get away from murder. If you're not taking care of the person's family financially that you killed, and most of you are broke, you just somehow got your hands on a gun, either you stole it or something else, but you ain't got no money. Your best hustle, either it's a club or a juke joint or selling drugs, your best hustle don't get you nothing. And now y'all going in to what y'all call victimless crimes of stealing people's money. My son wanted, my youngest son, he was very interested and still is in music. And he wanted Fruity Loops. There was a guy on the internet say, yeah, I got Fruity Loops. I could sell you a copy of mine. So my other son bought the copy, sent him the money, and he sent back something that didn't work. Hit him back up. Hey, it didn't work, man. Give us a. Now he's disappeared. Now he for a couple of dollars, he think he has won. But the young, especially in the cities, they are cybercrime is their thing. They can steal your whole life. They'll send you a PayPal or something and say your account's about to close. Cash App. One guy got $17,000 taken out of his Cash App and all the money in his bank account because someone told him, you got to remove this money, send us your PIN, send us. So they're scamming now. And they think scamming is a victimless crime. But the percentage of homeless people in America is skyrocketed. I just read an article. At least 20 million people are sleeping in their cars all over America, are sleeping in campers, not by choice. They don't have a choice. There's no victimless crime. There's no victimless crime. So now these youngins, they have no heart. It's gone. They're walking around with pockets full of money. And they think this is going to be their life forever. It won't be. I don't care if it's 50 Cent or Jay Prince or Master P or whomever who seems to have escaped death and consequences. You never escape. Every person that's been hit with a bullet hurt every day. They high every day. And then there's consequences more to that. I want you young folks to understand that. I thank y'all for tuning in. I'm coming after everything that God tell me to come after. I don't see no difference between a crooked cop, a crooked politician, a crooked street person, a crooked preacher. There is no difference. The consequences are the same. But I will say this. In South Carolina in particular, if you come to city council meetings and things like that, you will know. If you go downtown in Manning on the fire stations building, they got a banner up that says The Promise. They made a pact and a promise to themselves and to the community. That's a great thing. That should be applauded. I think the police, the fire department, the rescue squad, all in the community should work together. I'm going to stand on that. Because if the criminals win, then it'll be total anarchy. If you are a criminal, move around. Be good at being a criminal. But if you're sloppy, that's on you. I was at a council meeting where the cops they signed into a law where the police, if they see another police officer doing something wrong, they can report that and they can tell what's going on with that. I applaud that. Because for centuries, the police have been against the people, black people in particular. You don't know this. You weren't in New York in the 70s and the 80s, in cities in Alabama and even in South Carolina, man. Look, you go with the police, you come back dead. Or you doing 20, 30 years off of some bull. But even in those areas of life, they're understanding we got to do right. We got to do right because there's a consequences. In the Quran, in the Bible, they talk about Babylon the Great. People saw it falling. This is Babylon. America's Babylon. I've been in Bahrain. That's all the way in the east. That's a 24-hour flight. I've been to Germany. Germans don't like blacks. Germans don't like America. I've been to the Emirates, the Emirates. I've been to all of them. I've been to Abu Dhabi. I've been to, I can't remember all the names of them right now. The one everybody want to go to. I've been to those places. They treat people, once they know you're an American, they treat you like garbage. Africans treat us like garbage. I have a buddy of mine that he has a home in Morocco, but he called somebody over there brother, and they said, don't call me brother, I ain't your brother. So y'all don't know hatred because you never been nowhere. Jamaica, the same. I went over to Jamaica with my wife and some friends, and when they start trying to peddle that stuff to us, and I was coming down on them, they said, oh, you the chief. You the chief. You protect everybody. You the chief. I had it on video. But my hard drive crashed. Nobody likes us. And here you are on the grand screen all over the world. When a Chinese, you know that in Europe, you know that in Germany, they think after dark, black people grow tails like monkeys. They want to be around you to see your tail grow. In China, the same thing. But at the same time, in those different countries, and they got black culture In London, they have a Black Panther party. You don't know, you never been there. I've been there. I'm done. Don't think that this is the only place in the world. And if you all bring the negative energy, which Clarendon County in particular is almost engulfed with it, and I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about white folks too. I got white associates too that tell me our communities are just as bad as yours because of that meth and heroin. Down there at the lake where they try to make it look like everything is fine, they stealing generators, four-wheelers, sea-doos, boats, cars. They're taking the copper out of the darn wires in the electrical poles. They're taking catalytic converters. They're doing it all. The same thing. Everybody's under God's divine punishment. So I'm telling you, I work with white people. I work with black people. I work with transgender people. I work with gay people. I work with homosexuals, lesbians, butchers. I don't care who you are. As long as we're on the same page and what we got to do for our community, I'm with you. Because I worked for years trying to just help black boys. And I got nothing to show for it. So God is saying, move on. Get the people who want to move on. So I'd rather live next door to a Caucasian couple who respects my privacy than to live next door to an ignorant black person who think that what they do is only their business. Yeah, we can unify as long as we got the knowledge of self and the knowledge of each other. So don't think you're going to kill somebody and get away with it. Mothers are suffering. I suffer with you mothers. I think about you all the time. Somebody taking the life of your, regardless as to, look, if I know my son is in something and he's keep getting in something and keep getting in something and keep getting in something, okay, I done told you to stop. I'm going to hurt because you're gone, but you caused that on yourself. But if I got a child that wasn't doing all of that stuff, man, and y'all take his life, man, wow, come on. Some people aren't built to pull a trigger. I've pulled the trigger before, but I'm not built for it. I know the consequences of it. Thank you all for tuning in. Jamil Salib, Zamir Manning, South Carolina. Share this information, man. Share it. I know you got the person you love. I know you love your pastor. I know you love him. And I know they tell you Jesus died for your sins and that's all you got to worry about because you saved and sanctified with the Holy Spirit. I know. But you know better than that. You know you go home and smoke marijuana. You know you smoke cigarettes. You know you drink liquor. You know you sleep with married people. You know you do unconventional sex. You know that. You ain't crazy. Stop playing. Stop acting. The whole world is Hollywood. That's why the lashes and the fake hair and the baker, you can't even go outside to the store.